What is up, everyone? JD here. I hope you're all doing well today. I have another everyday carry video for everyone out there. Today, I'm going to be going over my top carried knives for the month of November. So let's go ahead and get it kicked off because 10 knives is a lot of knives to get through. At number 10, surprisingly low on the list this month. And I think part of that's because of the fact that I did have a lot of new knives that I was trying to review last month. It is going to be the Spyderco PM2. This one here has a 3.44 inch S45VN blade with the 4.81 inch Flytanium G10 scales. Has the Flytanium hardware now, did upgrade to it. I found that the Pacific Sun was sticking a little bit back here on the compression lock for me. So this here is sticking a little bit, but it's a lot less of a stick. And if I wanted to keep the blue, I had to, I guess, sacrifice being able to have the smooth operation that came with the factory hardware. This does have the Lynch Northwest deep carry pocket clip on it as well. Overall length, 8.25 inches, and this one comes in at 3.75 ounces. So I'm going to close these up and set them out because 10 is a lot to fill up the screen with. Number 9 is no surprise because this was one of the new knives that I wanted to get a good feel for and carry, and that is the Civivi Bo. This one here has a 2.92 inch Nitro V blade steel. You can see that right down there on the thumb tab. This is a Brad Zinker design. It has a 3.76 inch carbon fiber, and this is that marbled carbon fiber with the red accents on it. Looks really good. I've understood from some viewers that it kind of varies, and that's no surprising there because I imagine it's how the carbon fiber comes out as you make this material. So it's probably really hard to get it to be very consistent. So I'm glad mine has a lot of red in it. I think it looks really, really good. I like the ergos on this. The overall length is 6.68 inches. And it comes in at a feathery 1.94 ounces, and it is on ceramic bearings, which gives this really, really good action. The paramilitary too, if you're not familiar, is on phosphor bronze washers and also has outstanding action for a knife that's on phosphor bronze washers. At number 8, still on the list, the ZT0562. This has a 3.5 inch 20 CV blade steel with titanium frame locks or titanium frame lock. It is titanium handles, plural. And this has been upgraded to the taco bearings, which has really, really improved the action of this knife. And I just love the way that it sounds with those solid slabs of titanium when you push to lock out. Such a great sound. Really, really, really smooth. Like a huge difference those taco bearings made over the factory steel bearings that were in the nylon bushings. So that is, I don't know if I gave the specs, so I'm going to give it again. 4.75 inch. I know I did the blade. 4.75 inch titanium handles. Overall length is 8.25 inches, and it comes in at the heaviest knife on my list, 4.45 ounces. But with the ergos on this knife and how good it feels in hand, really don't notice that weight when you're actually holding it and using it. But I'd probably say you're going to want jeans to carry my number 8 knife on the list there. Number 7 is going to be a new knife that I picked up. So no surprise it's on the list, the Savivi Astikus. This particular variant has a 3.25 inch Damascus steel that looks really, really good. Hollow grind with a swedge, so it is a very slicey knife. And it is a liner lock with wood handles, 4.3 inches of wood handles, and an overall length of 7.55 inches, 3 ounces, 3.02 ounces on this particular knife. So it is a very featherweight, and I do use this as part of my office carry. Ceramic bearings on this as well. Very, very good action. Very snappy, has broken in very nicely. Almost falls shut, but that detent on the liner lock prevents that from falling shut. So it does have a little bit of resistance with that ball on there, but that's what gives it such a snappy deployment when you're trying to kick it out. Number 6, another new knife that I picked up that I wanted to review. So I had a lot of time in the pocket. Not to say that it wouldn't have been on the list, not to say that any of these new knives here wouldn't have been on the list either. I very much enjoy them and they are highly recommendable. Number 6 is the Kizer Sheepdog with the thumb holes. This has a 3.3 inch 154 cm blade steel. I really like this blade steel a lot. It has performed really, really well. I have a couple of knives with it on there, and I really do like it a lot. So I'm glad to see them offering it on these knives that are a little bit over the $50 threshold. It has a 4.4 inch micarta handles, 7.7 inch overall, and it is 4.4 ounces. My particular one weighed in at 5. So no, that's not true. I did weigh it. I think mine was at 4.3. Mine was actually less if I remember back in the video correctly. The action on this is really good. There's so much 154 cm that this literally will fall shut with very little effort to shake it. Reversible flick is really easy to do on this. Thumb hole, really easy to do on this. The thumb hole actually reduces the profile because there's no flipper tab back here. So your footprint in the pocket's really nice. I like the satin pivot with the flat pivot collar on there. I like that. It's a nice accent. It is right hand only tip up deep pocket carry clip there on this particular model as well, and a really well knocked down for the liner lock and to be able to get to that. And the liner itself is recessed down into the micarta, making it have a very clean look. So that is number 6 on the list. We're getting into the top 5 carries for November 2021. Coming in at number 5, no surprise because I really like this knife, is the Blade HQ exclusive Spyderco Smock. This one here has the coated M4 blade steel on it, and you can see how it gets a lot of use. There's a lot of oil and fingerprints on it. The length on that M4 is 3.4 inches with a 4.5 inch natural jade G10 scale. This is really well done. Spyderco always knocks their scales out of the park, giving it just enough jimping without being too aggressive or having to worry about sawing away at your pocket when you pull it in and out of the pocket. Overall length is a long 8 inches, but because it's very slender, it doesn't take up a lot of room, and it still retains a very respectable weight at 3.64 ounces. I did upgrade this one to have the skiff bearings, and it has improved the action, just like I experienced with the taco bearings on the ZT0562. And as you can see here, this is just, really quick in and out. The flipper tab is awesome. Thumb flick works really well. This knife, really highly recommendable if you can get one. Even if you get the regular variant, I like this because it has really good ergos and offers a variety of hand positions. So I really do like that. I don't typically use it with the finger all the way back. On the heavier cuts, I found like being up on it, choked up on it with my finger over in front of the finger cutout actually operates a lot better for me. So still really liking this knife, and that's probably why it's number 5 on the list. Number 4 is a knife that I've spent a lot of time with, and it is kind of sort of replaced my Doug Hogue Ritter as far as my Weekend Warrior hard use knife, and you're probably going to be able to tell that. It is the Spyderco Manix 2, and you can see all of the scarring on this one because it has the coated blades, whereas on the Doug Ritter, it was just a tumble wash finish, so you weren't able to kind of see the use. And I actually tried to clean it up a little bit before here because it had a little bit more dirt and marks on it. It has a 3.4 inch S30V blade, as I mentioned, coated. This is on phosphor bronze washers. Both of these two knives, I don't know if I mentioned it, are on ceramic bearings. The action on this is really good, very easy to use. The G10 scales are 4.6 inches and overall length is 8 inches. Ergonomics on this knife are outstanding. I have 2 XL glove size hands, so I do kind of make it look like I swallow it up, but it actually does leave a little bit of room in the back, so you can kind of reposition depending on what it is that you're doing. Push cuts, if you're trying to pull through, still pretty comfortable. I do feel this a little bit in my palm down here, but not uncomfortable and really easy to use. And you can choke up for that precision work if you're trying to get out over the blade and trying to draw a cut. Depending on how you're doing it, you do have a variety of positions. I did go ahead and upgrade to the Flytanium ball cage here. This has much better grip and it feels a lot more secure in hand because I'm able to get in there with my fingerprint. The grooves in my finger really get in there and allow me to really grip that and manipulate it very well. I also picked up the ceramic ball from OCD for EDC, but his kit included a one-step softer spring, and I did try it and it was just too light for me. So I did go ahead and just keep the factory spring in there because once it broke in, I found that I really did enjoy it. Very fidgetable knife. Don't think I mentioned the weight, 5 ounces. So that is number 4. Starting to run out of room here, so I may have to move some things as we get into the top of the list. Number 3 is a knife that quickly climbed to the top of the list, and I was completely blown away and surprised by this knife because it occupies the space that used to be occupied by my Spyderco Para 3. That is the Spyderco Yojimbo 2. This one here is a DLT trading exclusive. It has a 3.125 inch coated 20 CV blade, whereas the factory or stock standard, whatever you want to call it, has a S30V, which is a very good steel. So the CPM 20 CV, a little bit more of an upgrade. This has a 4.5 inch G10 scale, and this one here really lets you see the texturing that Spyderco does on their G10. Really outstanding, really good grip without being so rough that it's going to saw away your pocket. The overall length, 7.5 inches, and the weight coming in at a very respectable 4.2 ounces. So really enjoying this knife. Has a little bit different of an angle for deployment. You kind of go outward more, whereas on the Para 3 and PM2, you kind of would go up with the Spidey flick. So really like this knife. Not surprised at all that it's in my top 3 knives for the carry of November, for my November carries. Very fidgetable. Highly recommend this knife if you've slept on it or overlooked at it because you didn't think it was quite the looker. Hollow grind here, really slicey, and a very beefy stock in the back. So this thing is ready to work. I am really excited about this one. Let me pull these down just a touch. I know we're running a little bit long here in the video, right around that 13-minute mark. So I'm going to move these down, and then I'm going to get to my last 2 knives. So at the number 2 spot, it's going to be a pair because I kind of alternate these 2. And if you're familiar with the channel, you probably have an idea of what made it into the number 2. And that is my Civivi Elementum button locks. These guys here are both the 3.5 inch coated 14C28 in variants. I don't know if they have any uncoated or not, but the overall length with the 4.5 inch G10 or micarta handles, depending on which one you want or have or like, makes this an overall length of 8 inches, and these come in at 3.42 ounces. I did find recently that when I weighed these 2, that the actual G10 variant was slightly lighter than the micarta variant. Both of these are on ceramic bearings, really good action. They are both reversible tip-up only deep carry pocket clips, and they use their corresponding material for that back spacer that has an integrated lanyard hole. So this one G10, this one micarta, as you can see here, blade centering really, really good. And the action on both of these guys are fantastic. Really fidgetable, really good ergonomics because it's a very neutral hand position. And this fits my hand so much better than the standard Elementum. I really think this is the perfect size for carrying for me. And I like the fact that it's slender and the weight being at that 3.42 ounces. That's really, really good for the weight. So I'll put both of these guys over here for number 2. And the number 1 carry knife that you have so patiently waited for me to get to for November is going to be my Protec Malibu. Really, really like this knife, man. This thing is really well made. Really happy that I was able to pick it up. I know a couple of you out there had said that the aluminum handles are really slick for you, and I probably could see like if it were to get wet. And I have actually looked at knife modders over on Instagram. I'm trying to get a hold of them to see if I can maybe do a little bit of that frag pattern in there that Protec offers on the runt. I think that would actually be really good to really improve the grip. But as far for me, this has not really slipped or moved around a lot when I've used it to kind of open packages and break down some boxes. And I think part of that is because the grooving for the fingers have really helped me secure that with a grip in hand, so I have no issues with that. 3.3-inch reverse Tonto tumbled 20 CV blade steel. I like the fact that they put their logo on the spine. Really think that looks good. The reverse Tonto is really nice. And I know this looks really thick, but just to give you an idea, this is comparable to the Para 3 as far as thickness. The thickness on this is really not as bad as those scales make it look. It is just a hair thicker than the Para 3 or the Yojimbo 2, depending on which one you have. And the aluminum scales are 4.25 inches overall. Length is 7.5 inches and weight coming in just under 3 ounces at 2.99. It is unfortunately right hand only tip up carry. Ceramic bearings, really good action. I like this one a lot. It feels very solid. I know there was another viewer that mentioned that they had lock stick on theirs. Knock on wood, I have not encountered that. Man, I'm surprised the dogs didn't bark at that. I have not encountered the lock stick. Mine is very smooth. It operates really, really good. Fantastic centering. I highly recommend this knife. That's my number 1 carry, guys. I thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like for me. It really helps the channel. If you're enjoying the content, please subscribe. I'd love to have you join and turn on the notifications for future content so you know when it drops. What did you carry the most in November? What did you like the most out of what I carried in November? And what are you most interested in out of my November carries? I hope all of you have a fantastic week. Thanks for tuning in today with me. Until next time, peace.